Konnichiwa, everybody! DF here. Welcome to Beauties and Beasts, a podcast of all things Beauty and the Beast. March is Women's History Month, and a lot of Beauty and the Beast stories feature strong, independent heroines. Today, going off of the patron poll, I'm going to be covering an animated Japanese film from Studio Ghibli, another one, and that contains such a heroine. Hayao Miyazaki's The Cat Returns, which coincidentally celebrates its 20th anniversary this year. Not really your typical Beauty and the Beast story, but it does put a clever, refreshing twist on the old trope. Note that this movie serves as a spin-off of Studio Ghibli's 1995 film Whisper of the Heart, using the characters Muta and the Baron Humbert von Gickingen. Oh, even taking 3 years of German, this is kind of hard for me to say. But it is a very different story, and you don't need to watch Whisper of the Heart to get it, but that's a film I recommend too. Just doesn't fit in with the Beauty and the Beast trope, so I won't really be covering that one. But both movies feature Cary Elwes in the English role of the Baron. If there was ever any reason to watch a dubbed anime, this is it. I can't get enough of that man's voice. As you wish. Before we get into this, I'd like to thank my $5 plus patrons, Arvin Joshua Rocks 15, BellaPinkSavage, Cosmic Trail, nalaxsimba, and Tyrannosaurus Venom. Note that this series is reaching its end this year, so I will be doing episodes weekly to cover my remaining topics. Come August, everything will move to Patreon, patron-wise. You can show your support by buying my merchandise on Redbubble at disneyfanatic23.redbubble.com. Also, check out my new webcomic, Queer Coded, on DeviantArt concerning LGBTQ issues, and also some extra ones that will be coming this month. Alright, so let us get into the obligatory plot summary. The Cat Returns opens up with high schooler Haru, voiced in English by the future Oscar winner Anne Hathaway, who is your typical awkward teen, klutzy and often late for everything. Relatable already, honey. She has a crush on a guy in class, but her friend Kristen Bell, no, seriously, it's Kristen Bell, says he has a girlfriend. As Haru and her friend are walking home from lacrosse practice with their sticks, they see a cat crossing the street with a package in its mouth, which is strange in itself, about to be hit by a truck. Oh my gosh! So, Haru swoops in, scoops the cat up with her lacrosse stick, and launches it out of the road, breaking her stick in the process. Still, pretty badass move. The cat then gets up on its hind legs and thanks Haru for saving his life, and that he'll find some way to repay her. Wait, the cat's talking? And standing like a person? Well, what's going on here? Thinking that she's gone nuts, Haru goes home and asks her mom if she thinks cats can talk, and the mom's like, oh yeah, sure. Wait, what? And then at dinner, the mom says, you actually asked me that same question when you were little. And Haru then recalls a time when she fed a dirty little white stray kitten her fish crackers. And she told her mom, the kitten spoke to me. Well, what did she say? Life is tough. That night, Haru is awoken by music and a bunch of meowing and goes out to find a parade of cats walking on their hind legs, escorting Tim Curry. The king of cats. Seriously, how is it I find this man's voice everywhere? The king's servant then reads a proclamation that for saving the king's son, Prince Loon, there's a tongue twister I never thought would exist, Prince Loon, from the truck, she will be greatly rewarded and will receive gifts in the morning. They hand her a scroll explaining it. Haru returns to bed, thinking this is just a dream. I mean, what would any other person think? That they're just going crazy? When she wakes up, her friend is calling from the locker room at school, where there is a sea of lacrosse sticks, presumably to replace the one she broke. And outside of Haru's yard is it's overgrown with cattails, which she's allergic to. And on the way to school, she is chased by cats because there's catnip in her pocket. And out of her locker comes boxes of live mice. Gee, I wonder who was behind this. She consults the scroll and sees one remaining gift depicted as a cat wearing a crown, whatever that means. That afternoon, Haru's friend asks that she take over cleaning duty for her so that she can attend her boyfriend's game. And Haru, being a little bit of a pushover, says okay, not like I have anything better to do. Haru ends up spilling the trash outside and sees her crush with his girlfriend and thinking herself as a useless klutz. Then one of the cats from last night appears, asking if Haru enjoyed the gifts. And she's like, I'm allergic to cattails. I don't eat mice, and catnip does nothing for me. The cat apologizes and offers her a tour of the cat kingdom. And tells her how everyone's looking forward to meeting their new princess. And Haru's like, what? Oh yeah, didn't you read the scroll? You get to marry Prince Loon! Woohoo! And Haru's like, I'm human! He's a cat! I can't marry him! Oh well, the king doesn't mind and thinks that you'd make a good enough daughter-in-law. And you'll love the prince. He's so cool! And because that's how Haru ranks boys, she reconsiders this. Yeah, sure, coolness is all it takes. She thinks, maybe it'd be nice to be a cat. Just lay around all day and not have any worries or responsibilities. I'd like to be a cat too. But marry a cat? Come on. And the servant's like, great, we'll pick you up tonight. No, wait! Apparently cats are not very good at listening. Maybe that's why my cat never answers when I call her. Then Haru hears a voice saying, go to the cat bureau. They'll help. A big white cat at the crossroads will lead you there. With nothing else to go on, she's hearing voices. Haru goes to the crossroads, finds a big white cat who reminds me a lot of my big white cat. May he rest in peace, Larry. And asks him to take her to the cat bureau. He leads her to a little square, and I mean little. Everything is half her size, minuscule. At sunset, an anthropomorphic, well-dressed cat figurine comes out of one of the tiny buildings. He introduces himself as the Baron and explains that this is a refuge for creations, that the artisan who made him gave him a soul. A nearby crow statue also comes to life because he was given the soul too by his creator. Haru's first thought of the Baron is that, wow, you're cool. Okay, what is with her and thinking guys are cool? Cool. Well, I guess that kind of counts for Baron, because, come on, it's Cary Elwes. Yeah, he's cool. The Baron invites Haru, the crow Toto, yeah, we're not in Kansas anymore, and the big cat, whose name is Muta, in for tea. Haru explains the situation, and Muta says it was her fault for poking her nose into another's business, and if she becomes a cat princess, she'll be set for life. The Baron, who is not a real cat, asks about the cat kingdom. Muta says it's not a place for people who don't believe in themselves. So the Baron offers Haru advice. Always believe in yourself. Do this, and you have nothing to fear. Tea is interrupted by the Cat King's servants appearing at the door, and they whisk Haru away. But the Baron, Toto, and Muta chase him down, but only Muta is able to catch up as they go through the portal to the Cat Kingdom. In the kingdom, Haru discovers she is now cat-sized. She immediately finds the kingdom beautiful, seeing all the cats living peacefully, and she rolls around in the grass, forgetting the situation she's in. I mean, she was just kidnapped. Now, don't blame Haru for forgetting herself. Remember Muta's earlier warning. A pretty white cat appears and tells Haru that she must leave, for she is in danger. And Haru's just like, wow, you're so beautiful. Yeah, in her haze. But the king's servant catches up and insists that they go to the castle, or rather, her castle, to meet the king. Haru asks if the pretty white cat can come. She introduces herself as Yuki. She serves at the king's table. Why did I almost say emperor? So the servant says Haru will see her anyway. Muta reminds Haru that they must leave, but she's like, well, we mustn't keep the king waiting. She's lost herself already. So Haru is brought to the castle and dressed in a gown, while Muta is distracted by the buffet. Oh man, the number of fat jokes in this movie. Well, it was the early 2000s. The handmaidens tell Haru she's so lucky as everyone has a crush on Prince Loon. Then Haru snaps out of it. Oh, wait, no, I can't marry a cat. The Cat King comes in with his advisor, and Haru insists that she didn't want this and demands that she see the prince to sort this out. But he is conveniently away on royal business. And Haru's like, but we don't know each other, and it won't work because he's a cat and I'm not. They laugh and say, oh, that's already taken care of. In fact, you're half cat already. That's when Haru looks into the mirror and finds she's turning into a cat. Screaming, she runs out of the room to get Muta, only to find him inside a bowl of catnip jelly, dead. Apparently, he got too greedy and drowned in the jelly. Yeesh, this scene was messed up. Haru and Muta's corpse are taken to the banquet hall. The Cat King sees Haru's not enjoying herself, no kidding, and calls for entertainment. Several of the acts fail until a masked figure steps forth, declaring he can make the lady smile and asks Haru to dance. Haru is smitten by the stranger and thinks maybe being a cat won't be so bad. I mean, this cat's handsome. And then whiskers sprout. The stranger whispers that she should remember to believe in herself, like he said before. Duh, it's the Baron. Come on, who could forget a voice like that? The jealous king demands to know who he is. The Baron unmasks himself and says that he has come for Haru. A battle ensues. The jelly bowl is broken, and Muta is alive! Oh man, that fake out. Yuki, the maid, helps Baron and Haru escape out a secret passage, leaving Muta to fend off the guards. She leads them outside just as Muta catches up, angry that he was left behind. Like, whose idea was it to leave me behind? Yuki says the way out of the Cat Kingdom is at the top of the tower, at the center of the king's maze, of course. But they must hurry, for unless Haru makes it back by sunrise, she'll become a cat permanently. You know, why does this kind of feel like we got into Labyrinth here? Didn't I already cover this one? Haru thinks they have plenty of time because it's only noon, until Muta explains, it's always noon here. In the human world, it's night, so they don't have much time at all. Once Yuki leaves, the Baron asks if Yuki might have been the voice leading Haru to the Cat Bureau, and Haru concludes that it must be. So, our heroes brave the maze, and the king sends his guards in, while he watches from afar. After a series of hilarious hijinks, they make it to the tower, and the king decides to blow it up so that the tower is brought down and they're on the ground floor again. Our heroes are cornered until, ta-da! Prince Loon returns and is like, what the heck is going on? The king says, I found you a lovely bride. But Loon already has a bride in mind. Yuki! He gives Yuki a box that he had gotten from the human world, the same one he'd been carrying when he was almost hit by the truck, which is full of fish crackers. Yuki was the kitten Haru had fed years ago. That's why Yuki had tried to help Haru, for she had saved her life. Loon asked for a way to repay Haru, because now that she saved both of them. But she's like, oh, no way, you don't have to give me anything, I'm just happy for you two. Oh, come on, Haru, at least ask to be sent back home. At the very least, just say, I want to go home. The king apologizes for not realizing his son was already in love. He realizes his mistake, and so he decides to relieve Haru of her broken heart, insisting that she marry him. Okay, I take back what I said. I knew this cat was a creep. Then Haru's like, Okay, I've had enough of this. No one's going to decide what I'm going to be but me. And Muta's like, yeah, I respect a woman who stands up for herself. The king's advisor then recognizes Muta as Ronaldo Moon, a notorious criminal who devoured all the fish in the lake. And Muta's like, yeah, I know it. And now I'm going to eat this castle. While the others hold off the king and his guards, Haru races to the top, realizing she wasn't wrong to save a cat, that she's going to trust her own decisions from now on. As the Baron and the king duel, the king offers him a job, but the Baron declares he prefers sticking his nose into other people's business, just like Haru. Haru makes it to the portal at the top, but because the tower was moved, she is up in the sky in the middle of nowhere. But at least she's human again. With the help of the Baron, Muta, and Toto's feathered friends forming a sky bridge, she makes it down to the roof of her school. Back in the Cat Kingdom, the defeated king decides it's time for him to retire. Before her friends depart, Haru tells the Baron, just for the record, I think I may have a little crush on you. And the Baron replies, just for the record, I admire a woman who speaks from the heart. And he tells her if she's ever in trouble again, the Cat Bureau is always open. Until then, trust yourself! And the heroes fly off into the horizon. The next morning, Haru's mom finds her daughter not only up early on the weekend, but she's made breakfast. And while shopping, Haru's friend says that her crush broke up with his girlfriend. But Haru's like, oh, that's too bad. What, you don't even care? It doesn't matter to me anymore. Yay! Character development! Okay, I think we can agree this is a weird movie, but also a fun little fantasy adventure. A movie doesn't have to be super complex or dramatic or have to have a very intricate plot line for it to be enjoyable. And the message is pretty clear. Always believe in yourself. It's definitely got some Beauty and the Beast themes, with Haru being forced to marry someone not her species. Really, it's the proposed beast's father that's a villain. The prince actually had nothing to do with this whole thing. And Haru almost getting transformed herself and sort of falling for a different cat, or cat-like being. And who could blame her? It's Cary Elwes. I mean, even when he's a cat. Oh my god, that guy's voice! Sorry, in case you haven't noticed, I'm a fan. But even the supposed romantic subplot ends up just being a crush. And the Baron and Haru part with their feelings out in the open without them really getting together. I mean, she just, I have a crush on you. Yeah, okay. Thanks for letting me know. And they just part on good terms. Come on, she's still in high school. But, in a few years, who knows? I ship it. But our Beauty's mission was not to go out and change somebody else. It was herself that had to change. Not literally. See, in the beginning, she didn't have much faith in her abilities as a person and put minimal effort into what she did, never asserting herself, even with her friend who had asked her to take over cleaning duty. Haru thought the problem was she was too plain and awkward and clumsy and didn't really have much to offer the world. And in the Kingdom of Cats, she starts to wonder if she'd make a better cat than a human. After all, people seem to appreciate her here. Until she realizes her self-worth, that if she hadn't fed that kitten or saved the Prince Loon, they wouldn't be alive and they wouldn't have ended up getting married, and those two ended up saving her. That her actions in saving others had saved her. Yeah, everything came back to her. The cat returns. The things you do unto others will eventually come back to you. And Haru realizes that she should trust her decisions and not let the fear of messing up get in the way. And in the end, she's more confident and self-assured, worrying less about boys and what could go wrong. I guess almost turning into a cat makes high school drama look easy to deal with. It's a good lesson, though simple, that if we want the most out of life, the solution isn't to change who we are completely, but rather change our attitude towards ourselves. And it helps if that lesson is taught by a charming, dapper cat figurine with the voice of Carrie Elwes. All right, yeah. So BellaPinkSavage here says, honestly, despite this film being a bit odd, I would have loved watching this movie as a kid. Yeah, I didn't get to watch it until college when my roommate was a huge anime fan, and she made it her mission to show me at at least the major Studio Ghibli films, and this was one of them. She agreed this is one of the weirder ones, but I do enjoy it. And I think I really would have enjoyed it as a kid. I enjoy it now. It's sometimes you just gotta watch something that's fun, a little bit senseless. It distracts you from the craziness going on in the real world. All right, so yeah, it's a short movie, so I really didn't have much to say. It's pretty straightforward. Although I do have a question. Do you think that maybe in the future, Baron and Haru could have had something? My roommate, my old roommate, thought it was just so weird because like he's a cat figurine. Like maybe didn't say how to be in an entirely physical relationship. Kind of best not to think too much into it. Yeah, and BellaPinkSavage says, I'd say so. Depends on what Haru wants in the future. It really does. But yeah, in the end she didn't really define herself based on how others saw her or like how a boy saw her. I mean, he did give her the advice to trust herself, but in the end it was what made her trust herself was seeing that these decisions I made ended up helping others and then helping me in the end. I got to have more faith in what I do. That I'm not worthless. I may not be perfect, but I am worth something, and I don't need other people to tell me how much I'm worth. Like even the king telling her that you could be a princess because you're pretty enough. Yeah. Yeah, so don't let others define you. Only you can define yourself based on what you do. Yeah, Bella says, power to Haru. Anyone have any additional comments before I announce next week's topic? Let me turn on some music while everybody's thinking. Okay, nope, nothing else. Okay, so speaking of people falling in love with potentially falling in love with reanimated objects, next time we'll be analyzing the Disney cartoon series Gargoyles, featuring an interspecies couple that somehow works. Okay, until next time, remember, if you see a cat in the road, go and save the kitty. But you don't have to marry the kitty, okay?